All right, I'll go back to a hand here. And Willard, you've been waiting quite patiently, so you should be able to unmute and ask your question. Or
Oh
just
man,
say,
Will, he didn't mind waiting. What's up, Will?
Yeah, all right.
Hey, what's going on? This is kind of like a few part question, but first of all, so our union obviously is unlike private sector unions, where they can say you're a pilot union for Southwest. They can see that obviously Southwest is profitable when they go into negotiations. They know how much money they have. Regardless, if they get a contract, secure a contract with a large raise, Southwest can pass along that price to customers. Working with the FAA, we're on fixed appropriations. So
But
basically,
we're not on fixed appropriations as part of the hard part, Will. We are on discretionary appropriations because it is not mandatory spending for them to be able to invest in it. And that's what's killed us not having the monies, or not us, the agency not having the money for so long, because it should be a mandatory level spending. But I wanted to get that out there before we get too far.
okay, and that was part of my question. So so are we under fixed appropriations, like a fixed budget where they have a certain amount of money allocated each year, as basically what I've read, that they have that they take money from the trust fund, which is fixed. We can't control the taxes on that as well. So more so, it's like if we're asking for a pay raise or something via MOUs, how do we know how much money that the FAA actually has to even give us for these things? And like, do you have that information available, or where can we find that? Like,
Yeah, it's not. There's no world of give us because they don't want to give us anything, and that's the reality.
More so available. Like, how do we know what money is available? Because under my interpretation, like, they have to have increased appropriations. Like, if they wanted to give us a 30% raise, can they even sign that contract if it's not appropriated? Like,
They would have to go and ensure that. So what they would do, and what has quite often helped, Will, and it's a great, I guess, level set of the realities that exist inside of any negotiations. I think, saying somehow they're going to give a 30% pay raise under where they just try to take 12.2% of our retirement is us wanting to hear the thing that isn't the real aspect of it. I love a 700% pay raise for everybody in going in that direction. But what they have to do is determine, okay, it all comes out of one budget line, and that's called the facilities and equipment budget line. What are they willing to sacrifice or not budget for based on the amount? So typically, $3.1 to $3.2 billion are associated with the that budget line. We've been fighting for quite some time, and NAC has been advocating for legislators to increase that because the agency always asks and are told what they're allowed to ask for in that appropriations process. Very dirty and difficult reality to face. It was going to take approximately $6 billion to do a level of modernization and projects before, on top of our salaries. Our salaries eat up approximately $2.1 billion of the $3.1 to $3.2 billion that they had. A raise of approximately 10% is an additional, I think between 5 and 10% is an additional $1 billion to the F&E budget. And that is why we've gone in and worked legislatively to try to increase the facilities and equipment budget or relieve the pressure on it. So that way, when we do negotiate, there can be a level of calling to question because they get to live under the guise a lot of times of, we don't have any money, which may be real. So what are they willing to sacrifice, or what are they going to go in and say from the agency perspective, okay, we won't fund this because we're going to agree to this raise and go from there. So that has been a huge part of working to increase that facilities and equipment budget, so that way they have the monies, and that way we can continue to engage in those conversations. So was there more parts to that multi-part, Will?
yeah, sorry.